Hey Vacay Baes, welcome back to my channel. Sorry if the lighting is a little funky, guys. I could not get it together. So I know in a previous hair video I talked about my natural hair journey, how it has been a roller coaster to say the least, and I wanted to bring you guys a visual of my natural hair journey, just all of the phases that I went through and what phase I'm currently in now. As you guys can see, my hair is kind of like on an old blowout. When I have my hair like blown out or straightened, I don't typically just like continue to put heat on it. I may straighten it once or twice, but then I will just like put some oil on it and then twist it up into a ponytail at night. And then when I take it out, you've got these big voluminous just like waves or curls, whatever you would want to call them. So I would say my natural hair journey, and I'm going to be looking at some pictures. I'll also have some pictures popped up for you guys on the side when I'm talking about it. I would say my natural hair journey officially started when I was in high school. So I've been out of high school for almost 10 years now. Crazy. What? Like, oh my god, time is flying. But yeah, so I graduated high school in 2014. I would say I started my natural hair journey like my junior year, so like 2013. And as we probably all have gone through, especially, you know, like in the Black community, relaxing your hair, you know, everybody wants to have more of a manageable texture. So you decide, all right, I'm gonna have my hair relaxed. Real late, but once I decided that I wasn't gonna get relaxers anymore and going to be natural, I didn't decide that I was going to use no heat. So it was basically just like a slow transition. I did not do a big chop. So throughout junior and senior year, I was essentially wearing twist outs and braid outs, and she was just slowly cutting off the relaxed parts. Oh my god, like I really thought I was doing something, y'all. I'm sure you can see in the pictures, like I felt so cute. I was like, well, I got a little texture, I got a little curl, a little wave, even though it was like a little nothing. But then I think that's when I started to play with the idea of I want my hair natural, you know, as me seeing what my hair looked like wet. It did have a slight curl pattern, which my curl pattern has changed slightly over the years. So I started going to the Dominican salon, which was near my high school, and getting blowouts, which this did not help my curls at all. Like I said, this is just me transitioning from being relaxed to natural, not essentially like a heatless natural. So I was still putting tons of heat on my hair. If you've ever been to a Dominican salon, I'm sure you know, well, the one that I went to, they used a lot of heat because it was, okay, let's go ahead and put the rollers in your head and then sit you under the dryer for a certain amount of time. So then you've got hooded dryer heat. And then I had the actual blowout process, which is hair blow dryer heat. And then on top of that, you've got, oh, we're gonna flat iron it, so it's flat iron heat, you know. So it was just heat, like triple heat, triple threat. But when I tell you I would come out of that bit laid, like laid and slayed, okay. My hair definitely, I was excited for that, because with relaxed hair, I mean, your hair is straight, but it's almost like too straight. It doesn't have any body to it. And so when I started to get my little blowouts, I was like, okay, I was feeling like that girl. So after a while, I didn't want to put as much heat on my hair. My hairstylist that I was going to was able to get my hair just as straight without having to sit me under the dryer and everything. I did dibble and dabble in getting like keratin treatments or protein treatments for my hair, because at the time I wanted my hair to be straight. I didn't know how to take care of it curly. I had never really dealt with it curly before, but I just knew I didn't want to have any more relaxer. So then we'll get into where my natural hair journey, I feel like, really progressed and just had a whole bunch of different phases, which was my college days. So obviously going away to college, and I don't know if I mentioned this to y'all or not before, but my mom is a cosmetologist. So she has always basically done my hair, taken care of my hair. I was very spoiled in that way, where I didn't necessarily need to know how to take care of my hair because I had my mom to do it for me. So when I got away to college and I'm living on my own, I'm like, what do I do with this? Like, what? I had no idea what to do with it. At this point, I'm completely natural. I don't have any chemical parts in my hair. still using heat, still getting keratin treatments, but now I'm also straightening my hair on my own because I don't have like, I don't even know, I think my first year, like my freshman year, I didn't even have my car yet. So it's not like I could come home when I wanted to get my hair straightened. So I'm kind of managing it by myself, watching YouTube videos, you know, just trying to do what I could to get my hair straight and sleek. And at the time, I didn't really feel like there was much advertisement or products geared towards taking care of natural hair or heat protection or anything like that. There were a lot of heat tool advertisements and just products advertising, oh, this is gonna get your hair straight, no frizz. So I'm using like a lot of drugstore hair products that probably weren't even for my hair type, but I was just using it because that's what was at the Walmart or CVS that was near me, and that was what I was near. So I noticed at this point that I started to get actual heat damage to my hair because I was straightening my hair so often and probably not protecting it properly or doing it the like appropriate way. At this point, I also, like within my sophomore year of college, started working downtown. So I got me a little nightlife hookah slash bottle girl job, and I was doing that for a while. And while I was doing that, obviously in that industry, it was more preferable, I guess you could say, to have your hair straight. It was never said that you have to have your hair straight, but because everybody else had their hair straight, I was like, well, I'm gonna wear my hair straight. And I just think, like I said, at that time, it wasn't at a time where we are now, where we're more comfortable wearing natural hair. And I know that a lot of people have probably experienced this, especially people who are around my age that grew up in a time where your work industry heavily influences your appearance. Not just like your clothes, but the way that you're wearing your hair. And I just want to take a second to acknowledge the fact that I am so happy that we're progressing just as a whole in society. I know we still have so much work to do, but that we're actually able to wear our protective styles to work without it looking unprofessional, because that was never a standard that was set by us. That was a standard that was set by society. And curly hair is professional. Curly hair is beautiful. Protective styles, braids, twists, it's all professional. It's all beautiful. And at the time, I didn't have that type of encouragement. So obviously with me working downtown, I was wearing makeup every night and straightening my hair every night. And if y'all don't know already, I live in Florida. You know how humid it is here. So it was basically counterproductive, because at the time I'm straightening my hair and then going outside trying to get people for tables and bottles, and every time I go outside, my hair is just getting bigger and bigger and poofing up and poofing up. And I was looking cute when I was leaving the house, but by the time I came back home, baby, I was looking a mess, okay? At this point, I started to realize there's no point in me straightening my hair. Like, I would bring a flat iron to work, and in between the times where it wasn't busy, I would be in the bathroom trying to put more heat on my hair. And it's like, girl, it's not working, okay? So my hair naturally just started to revert and reject heat after a certain point. I came to the conclusion where I was like, you know what? I'm gonna at least try to wear my hair curly. I knew that I had some sort of curl pattern, and this was around like 2017, where some curl products started to get on the market. I feel like it was more, YouTube started to have that first batch of like curly hair influencers. Some of the ones that I would watch was like Sunkissed Alba. I think I remember watching Brie Hall. But at that time, of course, it was kind of everyone experimenting with wearing their hair curly. There weren't very many curly hair influencers that I saw that had my curl type in particular. So I was just kind of adapting off of those type of products, those type of hair routines that may not have worked for my hair type. But it wasn't that much information out at the time on different hair types, hair densities, textures, things like that. So I'm just going off of what I see, and I knew that I had some sort of curl pattern. Now, because I was using so much heat, I had a lot of heat damaged parts, but also my curl pattern was naturally looser because of how much heat I was putting on my hair. So at this time, my mentality was, well, if I feel like my hair gonna look a mess frizzy straight, I might as well have it look a mess frizzy curly, because I didn't know how to properly style my hair curly yet, but I was like, it just makes more sense for my hair to be frizzy curly than frizzy straight, because clearly when it's straight I want it to be laid. So I started doing more deep conditioning and actually wearing my hair curly downtown, even with the heat damaged parts. And I think at the time I did have an influence of, like I said, working and wondering how people were going to be receptive to my hair, because in the industry that I was working in, it is a lot about looks. So you want to feel like you're being received well so that you get tipped better. And that's a whole nother story. If you guys want a story of like my journey through college, my working in downtown, and how I feel like a lot of that industry maybe didn't have the best ideals at the time, that is a whole nother story. But with me not agreeing with it, that's just how it was. So once I started to realize, you know what, I feel like I'm being received very well, if not better, with my natural hair than I was with my straight hair, I was like, oh, it's a no-brainer. I'm just, you know, at that point I started wearing my hair curly. 2018, I finally started to travel, and that was a whole nother beast, because if you're a natural girl, then you know, usually when we travel, we like to have some sort of protective style, right? But I didn't get into protective styles yet, okay? So this was when the lace front started to come out and everybody was rocking a lace front, and you know, just very like lace fronts had first started to be real popping. So I'm like, I want a lace front, I want a wig, I want a sew-in. Like I just wanted, you know, one, to not take care of my hair at the time, but I wanted something, you know, to protect my hair. So I was like, well, yeah, let me do that. I'm traveling, I don't want to be taking care of my hair like that. So I started dibbling and dabbling in wigs, you know, whether it be lace front or sew-in. And I actually really did like this, how it was convenient. I liked how if I'm putting heat on the hair, it's not my hair. Whatever I'm doing to it, it's not my hair. And that my hair was braided up underneath these wigs. I did like that aspect of it. Now, I don't know if y'all can tell, but my hairline, okay, my hairline is like, I got my hairline from my dad. I love you, Dad. But I got my hairline from my dad, and he had like, not like a widow's peak, but it's not like a round hairline. Like my hairline is pushed back. So for me, the whole lace front and wig thing, it just didn't really work for my hairline. Like I feel like with the lace front, obviously I didn't want my lace fronts to be pulled down here because I wanted it to look as natural as possible around my hairline. But then we had to cut it back to where it would still sit on my skin, and it just ended up making my head look very, very cone shaped, which I do have like more of an oval long head. That's not a problem. I'm not arguing with that, but it's just more so I didn't feel like it was flattering to my face. So at the time I was wearing it, and then I started to feel like I couldn't keep up with the management. I couldn't keep up with the management of the wigs. They weren't lasting long, even the sew-in wigs. Just everything that I was doing, I was just not managing it well. So that wasn't something that I feel like really worked for me. But I actually, on one of my vacations, was so hot, because that's the thing, like all the hair, I'm not used to all that hair. I was so hot, I took the wig off in the middle of the vacation. I started off with a wig, and then I ended up with no wig and just my natural hair, but I didn't have no products. So that was a whole nother thing. 2019, I graduated, I moved back home. Thank God, hallelujah. You know, it's like, okay, I kind of was doing okay, but then I had my mom again, where I'm like, okay, she can kind of help me get my stuff back in order. But obviously around 2019, 2020, the pandemic hit, so we weren't going anywhere. It's not like we were traveling, we weren't really doing much. I did have my first protective style that was like Senegalese twist in 2019, and I love those. So once I started getting into like, oh, you can get like the rope twist done, or passion twist, things like that, I definitely felt like, okay, this is more what I need for vacation protective style versus like wigs. When the pandemic hit, we couldn't go anywhere. We were stuck in the house. So I naturally was just, you know, like letting my hair be, letting it breathe, giving it that space to just be out, be curly, be natural, not really like manipulating it too much. And that is when I saw the most growth I've ever seen in my hair. I feel like my curl pattern was the healthiest that it it ever was. All of my heat damage had grown out and I was just living for it. I was living for the length. I wasn't straightening it. I was just enjoying my hair being in its natural curly state. And because I wasn't going anywhere really doing anything, I mean, it was fine. I was leaving it alone. It was leaving me alone. So we were fine. By the end of 2020, things started to kind of open back up a little bit here in Florida. So I ended up having some more protective styles if I went somewhere. But then I also was just getting bored with my hair. I started to feel like, okay, yeah, it done grew out and now what? And you know, like I'm over it. So this point, I decided I want to add some color and some spice to my life. And I actually got my hair dyed. So I went from my natural color to this blonde color. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the color. I feel like it just brought like a different dimension to my face. The lighter my hair was, it just kind of brought more dimension to my features. Versus like when my hair is dark, I feel like it does kind of wash me out a little bit. Another reason why I decided to get my hair dyed was because at this point I had went through heat damage. You know, I knew like, okay, like my hair, as long as I'm taking care of it, it can take it. So I know it can take some dye. Like I was never worried about my curl pattern being compromised with the dye. And because my curl type is so coily, I was like, even if it does get damaged just a little bit, it's still gonna be tight or tighter than most types. So I was like not even worried about that. I'm like, whatever, let's do it, let's spice it up. 2021, I started to notice that my hair was just completely uneven. When I would wear it, the back part was longer than the side part. And kind of like what I got going on now, to be honest. There just weren't any layers cut. So I went and got my first curly haircut, which I will have that linked up here. I actually did film that whole process and Jarelli did a great job of explaining how she was cutting it, why she was cutting what, and just talking about my hair. So if you wanted more details on like my hair type and that whole process, you can go watch that video. Not only did I get my hair cut and shaped where it was more uniform, I was trying to go for like more of that big round look. I also got some bangs cut because I had always considered getting some bangs. I have very big hair. Like when my hair is completely dry, I get a lot of volume. So I'm like, I like how the bangs look. So I got some bangs cut and honestly, I thought the bangs were super cute, but they are a little harder to keep up with management wise. So I don't know if I would do that again or not. I'm still contemplating because they did look so good. And I like how they covered up some of his forehead. So after that appointment, Jarelli did let me know that my hair was completely healthy even after going through the dyeing process. And even though my hair was healthy, I just throughout the year started to notice that it was just a lot harder to keep moisture in my hair with it being dyed, because you do have to have your hair bleached to a certain extent. My hair was lifting very quickly when it was getting dyed, so I didn't have to have it bleached too heavily, and I didn't go through multiple processes. I just did the one time and that was enough color for me. So I'm not sure if you wanted to go through like a whole phase, how much that would affect you. But this was also a year where I was doing a lot of traveling, not international traveling. I started doing domestic traveling. So I'm realizing, oh shoot, I could travel every other month when I'm not going far. So I was still having a lot of fun with protective styles. My mom was doing her thing. Like I would see a style, I'll be like, Mom, you think you could do this? And she'll be like, I think so. She'll watch a YouTube video and she'll do it. Like she likes doing stuff like that. So she ended up just killing these styles. I'll go ahead and pop a few up, but I was just having fun with my hair. And I think that was when I started to completely change my perspective of just my hair journey and hair in general, because before everything was so intentional. It was, I want my hair to be healthy, or I want my hair to be long, or I want my hair to be this. Then I started to get to a point where I was like, it's just hair. It's just hair. So last year, 2022, my hair dye started to grow out. And with me knowing how it was harder to maintain moisture in my hair, I came to the conclusion I'm not gonna dye it again. So I'm just gonna let the hair dye grow out. And I also just came to that major realization. Like I said, hair is just hair, okay? Hair does not define you. It doesn't matter what it looks like, if it gets damaged, if you dye it, if you don't dye it, if you cut it, if it's long, if it's short, like if you add weave, it just doesn't matter, any of it. It doesn't define you. And so that's when I started to feel like, you know what? what, I'm gonna have fun with this. If I feel like I want my hair to be straight, I'm gonna let it be straight. If I feel like I want it to be curly, I'm gonna let it do that, you know. So I just started playing around with it, and I feel like I became a lot happier not being so focused on what my hair was doing. And same thing with 2019-20, when I left my hair alone, it started leaving me alone. So I really feel like that's kind of the key to this whole journey, is just me realizing that it's really not that deep. So fast forward to today, we're in 2023. Obviously you guys can see the nature and state of my hair. You see that I still be straightening it when I feel like it, or I might curl it, put heat on it, or whatever. And I'm just having fun with it. I feel like my hair is very moisturized. I'll show you guys up close. I feel like it's nice and thick. I don't feel like the thickness of my hair, or you know, the texture has been compromising anyway, and if it has been, it's not nothing too serious. The color is completely grown out. Like I said, like all that dye is gone. Hair grows back. If you want to do something and try it, try it. And yes, your hair can be damaged when you're doing different things. I would say play around with your hair, see how much it can take. You will get to know it. You'll learn your hair, you'll learn what you like, what you don't like, and that's what's gonna work and be best for you. But I don't think you should take it so seriously to the point where it's kind of stressing you out. Right now, I'm still wondering, you know, if I want to get another professional cut, or if I'm just gonna touch it up at home and do it myself, since for the curly cuts, they are supposed to be worn curly, and I know that I like to straighten my hair, or you know, manipulate it a lot, so I don't know if that's gonna work. It wasn't a huge deal the first time, but I don't know how I'm feeling in this stage. And I think right now I'm just wanting to do more styles, you know, like a lot of the times I'll just either have my hair out or I'll have it up. And I want to do more actual styles, like some twists in the front, have it out in the back, or you know, just, you know, how they, especially the TikTok girlies, been showing off all the styles. Okay, so I'm just gonna have more fun with it. Yes, I would like for my hair to grow out, but at the same time, if it doesn't, it's not a big deal. Health to me, yes, health is wealth, but once again, it is just hair. Okay, so yeah, I guess that's my whole little saga and my hair journey over the past 9-10 years, and y'all will see me moving forward. Whatever I decide to do with it, you know, I'm gonna take you on that journey with me, as I always do. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate all the love, and if you have any recommendations on what you want to see next, please comment down below. Share, give me some exposure, subscribe so you can be a Vacay Bae, like if you like this video, and I will see you guys in the next video. Love ya.